To set healthy boundaries, you can't just make an announcement. I've been looking at the Lisa Nichols show, and I know you won't say it like that, but things have got to change. No, don't announce it like that. Don't announce it with that, what I call that stank energy on it. Don't announce it with that negative, I'm done, you've been using me. No. Again, they simply have signed up for the game that you created, the relationship that you created, which was, I'm going to give, you can receive. You don't ever have to worry about crossing a boundary with me. So the first thing you need to do is to set the record straight by apologizing to the people that you've allowed to cross your boundaries. You have to say, I apologize. Just say it just like this. Just quote me. Just like this. You don't have to say, you quote me. It's your own words. You can modify it as need be. But you know what? I owe you an apology. I owe you an apology because I've made you think that I have no boundaries. I've led you to believe that I don't need rest. What I've done is I've overused my yes. And so I'm not used to saying no, and you're not used to hearing no from me. I've even said yes to you when I needed to say no. And what I know about you is that you would want me happy. So I apologize. I set something in motion that doesn't even work for me. I love you. I know you love me, and I love the relationship, but I need to make some tweaks. I did this. Don't do it in any passive aggressive way that indirectly blames them. No, own your stuff. You are a leader. Own your mess. Own your choices. Own the results. I had to do it. Hold on. I set everyone up to believe that I can handle everything. I kind of like being the hero of the story. It was my ego or my self-esteem that needed to be fed for the last 10 years. And now I've grown up enough to realize I don't need that. And so in this new season, I need to set healthier boundaries. It's not about you. You never saw my line, so you didn't know that you were crossing it. You never saw the boundaries, so you didn't know where they existed. That's on me. Ooh, now that's grown folk talk. That's grown folk talk. That's adult. That's emotional literacy at its best. So I know it might make your knees knock. It might make your teeth chatter, but pull up your big boy pants, pull up your big girl pants and make it happen. Because on the other side of that is the experience that you deserve and the one that you're looking for. But it first requires you to do the work. In a previous episode, I talked about your Popeye muscle. That's the thing you've been doing for a long time already. That's the letting everyone cross your boundaries. That's the saying yes to everyone. And then there's that olive oil muscle. You know, the muscle that hangs down here because it's underdeveloped. That's that setting healthy boundaries muscle. That's that apologizing for how you've shown up and allowed other people to not even see your boundary. That's owning it. Oh, yeah, I know. It can be intense, but it's so incredibly beneficial. So let's do it. Let's reclaim your boundaries. Let's reclaim your joy. Let's reclaim your life. Let's reclaim your future. Let's reclaim and design it in a way that serves everybody. Because when you do this, you will model for those who are witnessing you. You will model. People won't choose to be out of relationship with you because you apologize for never setting boundaries. It'll be a little disruptive. It'll be a little uncomfortable. It'll be a little new. And then they'll settle in it. And then we know something new. And then you've inspired others to do the same.
The key to getting the life that you want is figuring out what you're going to say no to. You can get anything that you want. You just can't get everything that you want all at once. And if you're feeling like you're behind, you're unhappy, you're not getting anywhere close to your goals, you're not getting any kind of momentum towards achieving anything, then you have to start really examining, what are you going to say no to? Where do we need to raise the bar, raise our standards, and stop saying yes to people, to ideas that don't ultimately serve where you want to go? So my son just finished having a month off of school. And so I had him for a whole month, no school. And I decided for that month that I would spend a lot of time with him, that instead of him just being over and me working and spending evenings together, that I would spend most of the time with him. So I went from working whatever our normal work hours are down to 10% of the work hours. I canceled almost all of my meetings. I canceled almost all of my calls. I didn't do any Instagram lives. The only ongoing one that I kept was my Movement Makers and Brandlytics program that I train on Thursdays. And that was almost it. I still stayed on top of email, but I wasn't doing most of the things that I was normally doing. I said no to most things. I said no to media opportunities. I said no to speaking opportunities. I said no to new ideas for this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channels. I said no to almost everything. I put up a boundary for the month because I wanted to be able to spend the time with my son. And we had an amazing time and it was awesome. And I took him to LA. He wants to be an actor. So I took him to LA and we went on some of the studio tours and did the Hollywood Walk of Fame and all of that fun stuff. And it was his first time there and it was amazing. I don't regret any of it. And also when I came back, there was a mountain of work that I had to do. There's a mountain of emails to get back to. There's a mountain of people that I needed to connect with. And so it's just making a decision as to what do I want in my life, especially right now, and are the things that I'm doing leading me towards it or not? And if there's people that are not just getting in your way, but people who are bringing you down, people who are pulling you off in a different direction. Everybody has an agenda for your life, right? Everybody has ideas for what you should be doing with your life. And we're constantly being pulled in a million different directions. So how do you know which is the right one to do? Well, the process that I go through is I start by figuring out what is my most important core value. So mine is belief, right? What is your most important core value? If you're being pulled in a million different directions by all sorts of people who have plans for what you should do with your life, until you understand what you stand for as a human, you're going to constantly be pulled in all those million directions and never feel like you have any safe spot to stand on. You're going to feel like you're in quicksand all the time. So what is your single most important core value? Maybe one already comes to mind. Maybe you've already done this exercise and you already know it, but that's a constant reminder. And if you don't know what your most important core value is, I go through it in your one word and Built to Serve, but basically think about all the things that have made you come alive, the people that you've loved, the movies you loved watching, your favorite teacher of all time. What's the common thread between all of them? It's a feeling, it's an emotion. Your favorite teacher growing up wasn't because they taught you. Mine was Madame Farr. It wasn't because she taught me French. It's because she made me believe in myself more, right? So all those great things that made you come alive, what's the consistent thread between those things? And that's what you need more of right now, and it's what you need more of in the future going into your life. So the projects that don't feel right, the people who are pushing you in the wrong direction, it could be from a really loving place, but if it doesn't match up with your most important core value plus the goals that you're trying to accomplish, then it's not a fit. And I don't think you have to have necessarily tough conversations with toxic people. Just stop spending time with them. Just stop spending as much time with them. If there's people who are constantly negative around you, just stop spending time with them. Raise the bar for what you accept into your life. And so the willingness to say no, to understand that you can't have everything, but you can have anything, and being super clear on what that anything is. And by going after that anything, by going after your big goals, it requires you to say no to other things. And this isn't just a business thing. This is for any goal that you've got. If you've got a health goal, right? If you got a health goal, well, you can have anything you want. You can go have pizza and donuts and beer and whatever. You can go eat that. You'll feel good in the moment. But you can't have everything, because you'll end up being overweight and unhealthy and probably not happy with your life. If you are happy, great, keep going off and doing it. But this morning I've got my coffee. I go on a believe walk every morning. I spend time thinking about what I want today to look like. I'm making YouTube videos. What's my intention? What I want to put out there to the world. Go get a coffee for myself and Nina, and it's just a coffee. It's not what I love to go to Tim Hortons, nice Canadian brand if you don't know Tim Hortons, and get a farmer's wrap with bacon and sausage and egg and hash brown and a Boston cream donut. Of course, my mouth is watering as I'm saying all that stuff, but I'm not doing it because I've got a health goal. And so I can have anything, but I can't have everything. And so it's the willingness to say no to those other things that may even bring you some kind of short-term benefit, but are in alignment with who you want to be. So it's getting really clear on who you are, what's your most important core value, and then what are the goals that you want for yourself. And then the things that no longer kind of match up, the activities. If you want to hit your goals, it's the activities and the habits that you're doing on a daily basis, right? Eating a donut every now and then, it's not the end of the world. Eating a donut every day, you're going to not hit your health goals. So it's more about what are you doing consistently every day. If you're around negative people constantly, every day, you're going to be a lot more negative. If you're around them every now and then, it's not going to make that big of an impact. So you are where you consistently do. And so it's choosing to show up in a certain way, to say no, and setting boundaries and raising the standard for what you consistently accept into your life. And it's a choice. It's a decision. And you don't have to make some giant decision like, I'm only going to hang around millionaires now. I mean, you could if you want. But a lot of these decisions are made in increments, that it's much more important, but what are you doing today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, and these micro improvements that you're going to make, where you're constantly and never-endingly, is that a word, never-endingly raising the bar for what you accept into your life. And one of my favorite ways to do it is content, is videos. If you feel like you're kind of stuck and you haven't grown in a while, and the friends around you are just thinking small and they're not inspiring you, and you feel stuck. If you look back on the past year of your life, have you grown? Are you further ahead? Do you know more? Are you more confident? Have you accomplished more? Are you moving closer towards your goals? Are you proud of the person that you have become, right, in the past year? And if no, then it's changing the environment to be around the people who are like who you want to be. And I find content is the best way to do it. It's why I make these videos. It's why I do my main channel. It's why I do so much content, that whether you're learning from me or Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey or Tony Robbins or Lisa Nichols or whoever, that there's always something every day to be there for you. On my Believe walks in the morning, I always listen to one of my videos. So on the walk to get the coffee, I'm usually doing videos myself, or responding to people on Instagram and DMs, and just sending out love and feeling like I'm part of the community and the work I do matters. And then on the way back, because I have 2 cups of coffee in my hand, I can't record videos. So I'm listening and watching one of the videos from my channel. And I love starting my day with a Warren Buffett or an Elon Musk or whoever in my ears, because it pushes me forward. No matter how big I'm thinking, how great I am, the work that I'm doing, I love being around people who are doing more, and it pushes me forward. And no matter how great a day I had yesterday, today feels like a new day. You know, you have the greatest day of all time yesterday, but that buzz, that high fades. The feeling like you're unstoppable fades. And so it's having that as a consistent, again, you are what you consistently do. Having that as a consistent part of your routine is being surrounded by the people, even if you don't have them as friends, but videos, podcasts, books of the people who are thinking, living, acting like the way you want to. And the more that you're around them, the more they will pull you forward to accomplishing the things you want to accomplish, and you becoming the person you want to be. So you can have anything you want. You can have anything you want. You just can't have everything. And the difference between where you are now and where you want to be is what and who you are now going to start saying no to, because you've raised your standards.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
What happens when you feel like you're always being judged? Number 1 is divorce yourself from trying to manage someone's judgment of you. I know that sounds backwards, because we want to go over there and change them. I know. Well, when I figure that one out, you'll be the first to know. But in the meantime, how can you separate yourself, divorce, I know it's a strong word, but that's the separation, from the need to monitor other people's judgment of you? Let me tell you what that answer is. You go over to self-awareness. You go over to recognizing I am whole. I am smart enough. I am wise enough. I am kind enough, not from a bragging way, not from a self-righteous way, from the most humble way possible. Can you wake up tomorrow morning and be content with who you are, irregardless of anyone's opinion of you once you leave the house, or maybe the person next to you, or the people downstairs, the people in your same house. Can you wake up tomorrow standing and living in the statement and the knowing, I am enough? And then leave everyone's opinion to them. You know, procrastination is really putting off your own desires. Procrastination is putting yourself last. Procrastination shows up when we are so used to putting everyone else in front of us, or we're actually afraid to do that thing that we say we want to do because we're not sure if we can handle the outcome. But the whole attachment to procrastination and self-love, what you can do tomorrow, why not do today? What you can do today, why not do right now? You know, one of my team members talked about reading a book called Touch It Once, which means if you can touch it once and get it done, how much more productive will you be? Unconsciously, we have a tendency to do things to influence someone's perception of us. And really what we're trying to do is change or control. That word again. We're trying to control their perception of us because we feel like they're being judging. So we get into the proving business. I said in another Lisa Nichols episode that you have nothing to prove, nothing to protect, nothing to hide, and nothing to defend. That's not just a mouthful of words. That is literally a lifetime of disconnecting from the need to prove to someone you're smart enough, you're kind enough, you're loving enough, you're worthy enough, you're enough, ... Right? And I remember for years, because I didn't graduate from college, I was always trying to prove I was smart enough. Always. And then I had a son without being married. So then I wanted to prove that I was godly enough. I was always trying to prove something until it just became so exhausting. What I was doing was trying to control people's judgment of me. I'll try says I'll make a feeble attempt. I will is absolute, non-negotiable, no matter what. There's a certain energy that goes forth when you say I'll try, and there's a different energy that goes forth when you say I will. When you make the declaration of I will, that says mountain, if you are there, you must move. I'll try says I hope I got enough energy to make it up or around the mountain, and if not, I'm gonna sit at the bottom of the hill. When you fail to make a plan, okay, well, hold on. This might hit you between the eyes. You know I love you. But when you fail to make a clear, concrete plan that has goals and milestones, meaning they're smaller goals that you can hit to get to the bigger goal, and has a by-when date, not in February, not in August, but August 15th by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, when I set a goal, I even want to know the time zone I'm gonna have it done by. Clarity. When you fail to make a plan with clear distinction, when you fail to make a clear plan, you have clearly planned to fail. I'll say it again. When you fail to make a clear plan, then you've clearly planned to fail. I know that hits you hard. I've done it many a times. I have clearly planned to fail many a times because I had an idea and it was just in my unconscious. I didn't know. Now I want to bring to you what I know to you so you know it. I want you to make a clear plan. When you create a clear plan, then you're clearly planning to succeed. Acknowledge your community. See, when you celebrate the people around you that bring you joy or that teach you some of the hardest lessons that you need to learn, the iron that sharpens the iron, the celebrators that celebrate you, those who hold the space for you and with you, pray for you, honor you. When you celebrate and lift them up, the whole tide rises. So I want you to find 6 people in your community, not out of obligation, but truly out of choice. They can be in your circle, in your family, in your business circle. And I want you to acknowledge them for the contribution that they bring to your life. What I love about acknowledgement is that when you acknowledge other people, it actually makes you happier. It's just this amazing gift of giving. And what I love is that most people would rather get an acknowledgement from you than a physical gift. That means they don't necessarily need the perfume, they don't need the sweater, they don't need the new iPhone, whatever. They want you to look at them in their eyes and say, you bring value to my life. I honor you, I celebrate you, I appreciate you. Take time to have a personal moment with them where you're just seeing them. The number one reason why people feel sad and disconnected is because they say they don't feel seen. So in this acknowledgement, I want you to look into their eyes and acknowledge them for who they are and how they make your life better. When you raise the community around you, the entire tide rises, the energy rises, the joy rises, the expectation rises. And guess what? If you make this a part of your weekly habits with them, I didn't say daily, I didn't say monthly either, and I definitely didn't say annually. But if you make this a part of your weekly, find one thing to acknowledge at least 6 people in your community for each week. One, you'll feel much more excited. But all of a sudden there's a vibration that happens because you've created it. There's this energy of let's go do this, because what gets celebrated gets repeated. You want someone to repeatedly do something wonderful and amazing in your life, you repeatedly acknowledge them from a genuine place. Man, it's so powerful when you truly marry yourself to the acknowledgement process, to the practice of acknowledgement. When you get into the practice of acknowledgement, all of a sudden people will mirror back to you. You don't acknowledge to get it back. You acknowledge because you want people to be seen. But there's just this dance that begins to occur that's absolutely delicious. Your belief systems were handed to you by your parents and by your grandparents, and they were pretty much embedded by the time you were 10 years old. So there's some beliefs that you didn't even have a chance to develop for your own. You just are living them out.
You inherited them.
You inherit the belief system and didn't unconsciously inherited them. And so the good news is you get to choose to the belief systems you like, and then you get to divorce. I'm going to say divorce because that's a strong word. We all know what separation looks like when you say divorce. You get to divorce from a belief system that doesn't serve you any longer. A belief system that says money is the root of all evil, maybe, or a belief system that says only rich people have money, or all rich people are crooks, or my belief system used to be that wealthy people aren't spiritual. That if I'm wealthy, I can't be a spiritual person.
You have to pick God or money.
One or the other. I got to pick my faith or my finances. I can't have both. That's a belief system. And I invite you to divorce it because it's not the case. I have both, and I live in both quite well. I use my money for good in the world. And the more money you have, the more good you'll do if you're a good person. So money makes you more of who you are. So you will only be more of who you are with money. Every relationship is a relay. It's like my dad's played tennis for over 40 years, and I've attempted to play with him at times. And what I realize is that relationships are like a tennis match. I hit the ball to you, you hit the ball back. And a relationship where you think it's only about one person, that's not tennis, that's racquetball, right? But a relationship is a tennis match. And so if a relationship is working, it's because of the way we both are engaging. If it's truly working. And if it's not working, it's the way we both are engaging. And so there could be passive engagement and there could be active engagement. So when you're not speaking up for what you want, when you're holding and you're living with a bunch of withholds, that's engagement. That's just the way you're engaging. So every relationship has 2 parts, whether your part is active or your part is passive. Every relationship has engagement, a level of engagement. And that engagement is on different levels. Oh my God, I love this question. I don't think I've ever been asked this question before. I never had an opportunity to explain it. Being the best version of you. First of all, don't think of it holistic. I want you to break it down to different parts of your life. Because when you are committed to being the best version of you, which in summary, it's the you that you're so incredibly proud of holistically. It's a 360 approach. It says, I'm not perfect. So best does not mean the perfect version of you. Because I think perfection and balance are 2 illusions that are designed to help you keep chasing something that's not even attainable. So perfect is not attainable and balance is not attainable. So it's perfectly managing my imperfection and releasing balance and having harmony, number 1. But the best version of you is really saying that in each area of my life, I'm in movement. In each area of my life, I'm in evolution. In each area of my life, I'm active. I am actively participating in an upwardly mobile way in this area of my life. Times every area of my life. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're always where you want to be, but it does mean that you're being responsible, you're being active, and you're being proactive. Finances, that you're looking at your numbers. Just this morning, I ran my credit score again. I want to see what's on it. I want to be actively participating in my financial growth. I looked at my savings. I looked at my life insurance. I just looked at my long-term plan. Not necessarily because I want to buy another house or I want to buy a car. I just want to be on top of it. I want to be responsible for it. And then health and wellness. Just yesterday, I was talking to Matt and going, Matt, it's time for us to do another health and wellness campaign. I don't necessarily want to do it. And it slightly to moderately scares me a bit when I'm bringing my fitness into a public conversation. But I know the responsible me, the best version of Lisa, is saying, hold me accountable. Hold me accountable to my fitness goals. Hold me accountable to my total wellness goals. And then last week, I was just sitting with someone saying, you know what? I need to go down the list of all the checkups that I've had. I need to make sure I'm not missing anything. Relationships. I just said to a girlfriend yesterday, hold me accountable. Hold me accountable to not running. I realize that I run well and I run smoothly. I run like a gazelle sometimes when it comes to relationships. It doesn't even look like I'm running because I'm so busy. So I asked someone who knows me, who knows the love that I want, who knows my sexy excuses. I need you to hold me accountable. When I say this, I want you to question it. And so while there's so much growth in every area of my life, I'm being the best version that I know to be because I'm active in every single area. I'm not saying I'm being the best or I am the best. Please don't get me wrong with that. I'm just saying to be the best version of myself. So when you look at being the best version of yourself, look at each part of your life and go, what am I actively doing? Where you feel like I'm in the game in this area. I'm not resigned and I'm not praying for it to go right. Or I'm not in resignation and in complaint about it. I'm not a victim to that relationship. I'm not a victim to my finances. I'm not a victim to the relationships in my family. I'm an active part of creating what's occurring. And it can always get better, but I'm an active part. That's being the best version of you. And waking up each morning and saying, I like me today. I got many things I can work on, but I like me today. Before you ever go out on Facebook or any other social media platform to check to see if anyone else like you, your job is to like you first. And every other like is bonus. That's stepping into the best version of you. Setting long-term goals that make your knees knock a little bit and make your teeth chatter a little bit. Those goals that you don't know exactly how you're going to get it done, but it's something that you want to get done. It stretches you, but it doesn't stress you. Your goals are supposed to stretch you, not stress you. Those things, that combination. And when you live in that capacity and you focus and you operate in that one, that's when you're living and being the best version of you.
Did you consciously sit down and say, I want to manifest inspiring millions of people, making millions of dollars? Was it a conscious thing? Were there moments where you sat there when you weren't living in that reality, where you said, you know what, I'm going to decide, I'm going to figure it out. I might not know how, I might not know where or what, but I'm going to commit to it and make it a reality. I mean, talk to me at the core of your experience.
Right. So I love how you say make millions of dollars. I said I want to inspire people and I want to be able to pay my bills. That was initially.
That was a big dream.
I want to run out a month before I run out of money. Big. I want to have enough. That like you can't think about having abundance until you literally give yourself permission to have enough.
Yeah, get past scarcity to begin with.
So I want to have enough to dream. And so my first, I think I have a ministry mindset. My first, I just want to help people. I want to help people and I want to be rewarded for my efforts, right? And then once I got past that, I said, okay, I want more. I want to generate millions. I want to serve millions, inspire millions, and generate millions. I think I deserve all of that. But that had to do with my self-worth.
Right.
I had to feel worthy to touch millions. And I had to feel worthy to touch millions. I had to feel worthy of both. And so that was personal development, which is why I live and I stay in personal development. I teach personal development. I teach wealth development, I teach business development, and I teach personal development.
I love
because you have to have both. Setting quarterly goals to recognize that goals that are going to be hit are goals that are bite-sized, digestible, and palatable. And you can measure them every 90 days. We together discovered that 90-day goals allows us to get to annual goals and 2-year goals and 5-year goals. But 90-day goals allows you to have bite-sized, palatable, digestible goals that could be measured and or adjusted every 90 days. If you find that the relationships around you have toxic outcomes, then I want you to look at where's the breakdown. Is the breakdown in communication? Is the breakdown in how you communicate, the words you're using? Is the breakdown in who you choose to be around? Is the breakdown in the engagement of what you're talking about? What I've learned is that if you're not talking about things that are high enough and big enough, things that are inspiring enough, you will slip into the smallness every single time. If you don't choose an intentionally high, evolving, encouraging conversation, you will slip into the cracks. You will slip into those crevices of smallness and petty. And until you get people trained that you're going to live up here without telling them, I need you to know, it's not an announcement. It's a way of being. It's a what do you choose to participate in. It's a stepping over your desire to hear smallness, gossip, negative feedback. It's when someone is engaging in negative feedback about someone else, the fact that you didn't add anything to the conversation doesn't let you off the hook. Did you stop the conversation? Did you say, hold on, I don't want to engage in speaking negatively of them at all. Why don't you have a conversation with them? It's course correcting behaviors in your space at the risk of losing the relationship. But what you basically do is you say, here's where I play. Here is where I live. I'm not visiting this high road of integrity. I'm not visiting this high road of conscious thinking and awareness and respect and humility and honoring the dignity in people. I don't visit this place. I live here. I don't visit this place. I live here. And in a loving way, anyone that's engaging with you has two choices. They either engage with you here or they choose to engage with someone else. Now, if you find that you're going down to be in the relationship, or you're going down and you're the person taking the relationship down because you're in a moment of anger, or you're in a moment of resentment, or you're in a moment of hurt, then you're not living in your highest integrity. You just visit every now and again when you come to this channel. Uh-oh, I see my Shantae coming out right now. Shantae is my middle name. It's what I do when I start getting real edgy because I really want you to get it. So you need to make a decision on where you choose to reside. And then you don't leave your conscious neighborhood to go visit other people's neighborhood if it's not as high as yours. People will rise to the occasion, or they'll choose not to rise, and they'll pick other people to be with and hang with. And I know that sounds easier said than done, because some of the people who are playing at a lower level might be in family. It might be, and that's fine too. You can love people. It doesn't mean you have to spend tons and tons and tons of time if that time costs you something. Spend as much time as you can. Spend as much time as serves you. Spend as much time as they will allow you to spend. But never leave this place. Even if being with them causes you to allow them to be where they are, you don't have to engage in that. So the bottom line in supporting you to either recognize, are you the toxic element, or are you surrounding yourself in toxic element, is to make a commitment where you live. Where am I living? And first own where you're currently living. Because if you own it, you might go, you know what, I do slip into that small place. Okay, own it. That's conscious awareness. That's powerful. Own it. And then go, where do I want to be? And then what's the distance between here and there? And what do I have to do to get there? What do I have to say no to? What do I have to participate in? What do I have to ask forgiveness for? What do I have to clean up? What relationships require cleaning up? And then what declarations must I make? And what decisions must I live in? Don't make a decision, live in your decision. Practice active, yes, I'm gonna say it again, underline, circle active, practice active self-care. That's where you identified what rejuvenates you and made plans to make time for self-care during the busy season. So you made a list of what you know rejuvenates your soul, your mind, your body, your spirit, from walking on the beach to reading a book to taking downtime, free things and retreats or a spa, whatever it is that rejuvenates your soul, to make a list of it and then to make plans, active self-care, to do those things during your busy season. To the conversation about money and wealth, it's one, being willing to release a familiar now for an unfamiliar future. Now that's easier said than done.
Yes.
And it's bigger than it sounds. Are you willing to have your future look unfamiliar, and in some cases, look around and you don't recognize anything? Are you willing? Are you so tied to the comfort of what you know, even in its discomfort? So I was willing to reinvent myself 1,000 times. Are you willing to reinvent yourself? Are you willing to introduce yourself to the new version of you?
Yes.
Are you willing to go places you wouldn't go and do things that you traditionally wouldn't do? See, I wasn't traditionally in meditation or in visualization or hanging around older white men, or like I had 1,000 things that I didn't do traditionally. When we talk about living our quest, I think that living my quest, really, if I look at it on a daily basis, it's finding my own voice. It's finding your voice. It's finding the song that only you can sing, off key or not. It's finding your rhythm. It's discovering what it feels like to walk in your shoes today. It won't look like it looked 10 years ago. Living your quest is, what can I do with my life so that my life becomes infectious to someone else? Living my quest looks like, how do I make my fingerprint matter so big that it lives beyond my transition day? Living your quest is, how can I forgive the perceivingly unforgivable so I can love the absolute lovable? Living your quest is, how do I give myself 1,000 second chances, and every time I get to 999, press reset? Yeah. Living my quest is not some ambiguous, untouchable experience. Living my quest means going back and healing the little girl in me so that the woman can be free. It's going back and embracing the little boy in you so that the man can show up and give himself permission to cry when necessary. Living your quest is not something that you can't touch. It's not something that requires a stage or lights or cameras. Living your quest is being complete and content with who you are in the dark of the night, so who you are in the middle of the day is all right. Living your quest is as simple as it is complex. Living your quest is about giving yourself permission, say permission, on a daily basis to become the next best version of yourself. Living your quest is not holding yourself hostage to old decisions, not holding yourself hostage to shame, blame, guilt, regret, and anger. Living your quest is about recognizing that every day I can be reborn to my possibility. See, it's very difficult to speak phenomenally and to not be good. Come on, y'all from yesterday. Not be great, but to be what? Unfreaking forgettable. It's difficult to be unforgettable while you're still trying to look good. You can't do two things as chasing two rabbits. See, unforgettable has everything to do with serving at a level so high, so big, so massive that people feel like they have to change their lives because they crossed your path. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. See, when you're willing to use your voice, first you have to recognize that you have one. You got to recognize that no matter your past, you were given a voice, and your voice was given not to keep to yourself. Your voice is not a secret, says the secret teacher. And you have to be willing to use every experience that's ever happened in your life, not as a fortress holding you from using your voice, but as the fuel on why you will use your voice. You got to be willing to not stand in your story, but stand on your story. Yes, yes. It's not in spite of your past that you get to be amazing, that you get to be a change agent, that you get to transform lives. It's because of your past that you're perfect for such a job. When you own it like that, see, there's no question in my certainty about my life. Can you walk with that level of certainty so that when the wind comes and then when the wind blows, and it will come and it will blow and it will be a storm and it will be a tornado and it will look like divorce and it will look like bankruptcy and it will look like an illness and it will look like a loss. When it comes, it will rock you. It will rock you. It will rock you, but it won't move you. The Oprah team had heard some of my backstory. And they said, can we send a camera crew, much like this wonderful camera crew?
Yes.
Not nearly as good looking. And can we send a camera crew to capture your story? And so I shared my story. And I mean, I dumped. And I shared the ugly. And right after the interview, I regretted it. Because I didn't think I could be the secret teacher, the expert, and have that kind of ugly out there in the world. I didn't know. I didn't know that the world would love me for what I've come through. I thought that they would consider me an imposter in the secret. And so I shared all this junk. 2 weeks later, I'm on my way to Oprah to do the actual recording, and I know I know the video. So the night before, I'm packing and I'm crying. I'm like, oh, it's over tomorrow. It's all over.
I'm gonna go embarrass myself on Oprah.
It's the fastest career up and down anyone's ever seen. Lisa Nichols will be the secret.
Yes.
Right. So, I'm just sad. I'm scared, and I call a friend of mine at 4:15 in the morning because I stayed up all night.
Of course, yeah. How are you gonna sleep before that?
Yeah, right. And I said, I know they don't know my junk and the video, and it's over. And he said, look, can I pray for you, Lisa? And I was like, sure. My friend says, God, thank you for using your imperfect child to help your imperfect children. I went to Oprah the next day, and as the chatter kept going in my head, leading up to the moment when they play this video, I'm like, it's okay. I'm enough. I'm enough with all my mess. I'm enough. And the chatter kept, nope, they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out your son's father is in jail. They're gonna find out. And I thought, no, they're not gonna find out, because I'm gonna tell them. Because there's power in transparency. There's power in authenticity. There's power in truth. That I'm gonna speak life into someone else because they're gonna see who I am because of that, in spite of that, with that. And so then the after show came. So after the regular Oprah show, the after show. And man, I cracked open on the after show. And within 72 hours, talk about the power of transparency and authenticity. Within 72 hours, I received 8,782 emails. And my email wasn't even Lisa Nichols. It wasn't even easy to find. And my website wasn't Lisa Nichols.
Yeah.
People searching for me.
Whatever it took.
Because of the truth. And so I had the imposter syndrome then. I've had it since then. People told me, oh my God, you're the answer. And I'm searching for my own answer.
If you want another amazing Lisa Nichols clip, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I wake up every morning. Espresso keep me going. I wake up every morning.